You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
All writers are prone to becoming so attached to our characters and stories that we struggle to see why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing to full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, shaping stories into masterpieces that can stand the test of time. Editing services are provided for all genres and all age categories. Services range from critiques of a short story through to the line edits of a full-length novel and copy editing for those preparing for publication. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites, as well as help with those book blurbs and promotional material. We won't abandon you to the masses. We want to celebrate with you in your successes. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services and prices, visit us at blackwolfeditorial.com.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-610-9050. That's 800-610-9050. 800-610-9050.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it, there to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Defending liberty 1 hour at a time and broadcasting live from the RWB Network studios in New York City, this is the Ryno Report. Always right.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We are going to make America great again.
My fellow Americans, let's roll.
And now, here's your host, the Ryno.
This is my weekend Report. We are coming to you from the RWB Network studios here in New York and broadcasted by CRN Digital Talk Radio. So how many credit cards do you have? You know, too many and you go into debt. If you have too few, your credit score may actually take a hit because they want to see you have a little bit of credit there. People trust you with their money. Well, signing up can be something of a pain in the butt, can it? It takes a little while to fill out all the forms online, then you got to press enter and wait for somebody 1,000 miles away to deem you credit worthy. HSBC is about to make it a lot more difficult. You used to be able to pick if you're a male, you know, you put Mr. or Mrs. or Ms. There were 3 options there if you wanted to choose any of them. Now they're adding 10 more options to the credit card application form. One of them is MX, which apparently is mix. The other one is IND, which is individual. There's just an M, which means you're gender neutral. Then there's miscellaneous. I'm not quite sure what that is. There's MRE, which is mystery. MSR, which is a combo of Ms. and Sir. Then there's MYR, M-Y-R. I'm not quite sure what that is either. And then there's PR for person. There's a whole slew of them. You're just not a Mr., a Ms., or a Mrs. anymore. What the hell is going on? Which one do I have to choose to use the men's room? Which one is it? This is getting absolutely crazy. All right, we have a lot to go over on this weekend show. We have to go over these recent revelations that the White House actually worked to unmask these names of the private citizens they were surveilling. We have some brand new explosive evidence that could possibly land some people in jail, and it's just starting to get reported. We also got to talk about sanctuary cities. What more can the DOJ do to punish them if they don't comply with federal law? I have an idea, and it's really easy, and it doesn't even take congressional approval. Also, we have new information about FBI Director James Comey, the real reason he didn't publish that New York Times op-ed last July. And somebody figured out his private Twitter account. So we're going to go through that and tell you what he was tweeting, who he was following, the stuff he liked. Oh, it's all there. It's all private now, but good thing there's screenshots out there. We also have a couple of movies that you shouldn't see. There's a couple of movies coming out, and we're going to warn you, you should not see them. And we have some more strange stories from around the country this week. Some really strange stuff going on, including we have an addition to our Teachers Gone Wild segment. We have a new addition to that. Those are always a lot of fun. As always, you guys got to follow me on Twitter at Ryno, R-Y-N-O, on air, at Ryno on air. You can always check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/The Ryno Report. And you can email me, Ryno, at rwbnetwork.com. Maybe I missed a story. Maybe you don't agree with me. Maybe you want to answer the question of the day, and we have the real answer. We'll go over that when we get back. We have so much to do this weekend. Do not go anywhere. This is the Ryno Report. Defending liberty, 1 hour at a time.
A CNN original series.
Stop doubting and believe.
The followers who loved him.
I am the resurrection and the life.
The enemies who feared him.
Go to Bethlehem. Kill them all.
Who is the man behind the greatest story ever told?
Everybody who belongs to the truth listens to my voice.
Finding Jesus. New season Sundays at 9 Eastern and Pacific on CNN.
Trying to sell your old car? Instead, donate your vehicle to Heritage for the Blind. Pickup is free, and your donation is tax deductible. Just call 1-800-785-9618. Heritage for the Blind accepts cars, vans, trucks, and boats, whether they run or not. Call right now and receive a free 3-day vacation voucher to over 50 locations. Call 1-800-785-9618. Donate your car today. That's 1-800-785-9618.
Try to get a lot in here, but as always, our big shout-outs to everyone listening on Red Nation Rising Radio, Streaming Talk Radio, KLRN Radio, Western Free Press, of course, crntalk.com, and a couple of the AM and FM affiliates that pick up our weekend show, like 107.5 WJHC out of Jasper, Florida, 92.1 WDDQ out of Valdosta, Georgia, 1330 AM WLBB Carrollton, Georgia, 1360 AM WNJC out of the Philadelphia area, and of course 1590 AM WCGO, Chicago's Smart Talk. So big hello to all you guys, and you guys can find all the old episodes on demand, iTunes, TuneIn, Spreaker, Stitcher, Podbean, or iHeartRadio, or of course RynoReport.com, and I'll have a new article up there this weekend, so you can check that out too and sign up for the newsletter. We got all that housekeeping out of the way, and we have one more thing, because Crayola made the big announcement. They told us which color they're going to take out of the 24-pack. This has been big news on this show for the last 3 days, in case you haven't been paying attention. So the 24-pack, the truck box, there's a whole bunch of colors and crayons in there, and I had the question of the day up on the website on the contact page where it always goes, and it was, which color do you think they're going to eliminate? And every single one of you, everybody that put an answer in, everybody said the same color, white. Everybody thought white was the one that was going away, whether it was for political reasons or because it's the color you use the least amount in that box, I guess. I don't know. I guess when I was a kid, though, the white one was always the one that was in pristine condition because you couldn't use it anywhere unless you had, like, black construction paper. But it's not white. We were all wrong. Dandelion. Dandelion is the one that's not going to be in the box anymore. And I guess that makes a little bit of sense since there's like 18 different versions of yellow in that box. So Dandelion is no more. I don't know what they're going to replace it with. It can't be a 23-pack. That just doesn't make any sense. It's got to be 24. So no more Dandelion. That's it. I know everyone's upset about that. Also, I know you guys are worried about healthcare. I don't transition well, so that's my segue. I know you're worried about healthcare, and we're going to talk about healthcare a lot. This is going to be a big running theme on a lot of shows, and if you do like consuming conservative talk radio, that's been the big topic. Was the House Freedom Caucus right? Were they wrong? Is Donald Trump right? Is he wrong? The Tuesday group, the Wednesday group, the Sunday group, who's right, who's wrong, who messed up? And we're going to have a lot of time to go over that. But for now, we're going to have to put it off to the side for a little bit. You know why? Because it's going to come back. It's going to come back around September, early October. This is when this whole Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act, when it was really slated to implode and then turn into a single payer. See, no one's really that upset right now who has coverage because they got coverage, they're on the exchange, they got their subsidy, whatever it may be, and they're covered for the rest of the year no matter what really happens. It's when they go to sign up next time during open enrollment. Now, if you're on the exchange and you pay taxes, I feel really bad for you because you spend a fifth of your life doing government paperwork and you don't even work for the government. But that's when it's really going to start to hit the fan. Is September, October, when you see these insurers actually drop off because some of you may have coverage now with an insurer not knowing that they've already committed to not being on the exchange next year, and you're going to find yourself without health care or an option if you live in one of these counties that only has one provider. So that's when it's really, really going to get really deep, and we're going to have to talk about it then. But see, that's sort of what happened here probably was I think President Trump knew this thing was a clunker and it was never going to get passed, and House Freedom Caucus was just not going to be on board. And he has to be careful here because the House Freedom Caucus was really the only set of people that didn't run away from Donald Trump. When everything started happening with Billy Bush and all this other stuff, they didn't run away. So he's got to be kind of careful here. But come September, October, that's when you can have a real bill, a bill that they've been working on. Perhaps during the break, they may have to use some of those 35 weeks of vacation they have coming up. They may have to use some of that to sit down together and come up with a bill behind closed doors that they can introduce when this thing totally, absolutely implodes. And that's going to be very important. That's going to speak to the kind of leader Donald Trump is. It's not how hard you can hit, right? It's how hard you can get hit and get back up again. And according to mainstream media and perhaps the general public, this was a rather large hit for the president. Some of us don't really see it that way, but that is the narrative. So that's when you're going to see the real healthcare debate start to take shape, and what the Republicans have been promising, because they'll put out their new bill and then they get to run on this bill next year, and it's really going to be the last time they have to tell people that they need to elect them to obtain good health care or have affordable health care available to them, because after that you have to defend it. And it's much easier to be on offense with this stuff and say something is really bad, because you can pick out all the bad parts from the CBO scoring to everything else, and you can pick out bad parts. It's much, much harder to be on defense and defend something that you're passionate about. So that's when we're going to see this thing really start to churn. But as for now, we're going to talk about tax reform, right? That's coming up. They're going to package tax reform with the infrastructure bill. This is supposedly to be a bipartisan thing. I think the optics on it, though, are pretty good if you ask me, because if you can show the American public that they can save money, they can have their taxes reduced, and also get infrastructure taken care of, that's good optics. We're going to lower your taxes, and we're going to fix that bridge to nowhere. All right, so I think they're going to put these two things together, and that's going to be really good. And it's going to be hard for Democrats to vote against that, because then again in 2018, when they have the midterms, they're going to have to run on that they voted not to lower taxes and not fix the potholes. See, there was people that ran in New York, local senators, state senators, a number of years ago, and their platform was to get rid of the fees on an ATM if you're not using your particular bank's ATM. You know, fees are $3, $4, $5, whatever they are. And it seemed like a really kind of stupid thing, but it's something people latch on to. They say, you know what? That's a dumb rule. Why are they allowed to do that to us? We're just taking out our own money. And between the banks, do you think the banks cut checks for $3 to each other? No, there's millions and billions of dollars in wire transfers every single minute. And they were running on this platform, and it resonated. It was so dumb, but it resonated, and that's what Donald Trump has to do. He has to get back into this area where what he's suggesting resonates. Like building the wall resonated, jobs resonated. With the health care, nobody really understands it. There's very, very few people who understand actually what's going on here. Because let's be honest, about 6 people in the entire country read the 50,000 pages of Obamacare. Very few people actually read it. Even these CEOs, they have interns that read it for them and give them a little synopsis on what it says. So this is going to be where the debate is. It's going to be September, October, when this thing really starts to unfold. And then you can see who was really to blame here. Was it Obama himself? Was it his circle of economists and all these professionals that surrounded him? You know, who was to blame? Which also begs the question, where is Barack Obama? It's like, where's Waldo? He has disappeared off the face of the planet. Nobody knows where he is. But we found him. We know where he is. And he's by himself. Isn't that kind of weird? Why would he be by himself? He's got all the time in the world to spend with his family, but he's hanging out alone in the south of France. Isn't that kind of weird? Okay, we'll talk about that, plus a lot more when we get back to Not Go Anywhere. This is the Ryno Report. Hey guys, Ryan the Ryno DeSico here for my friends at Liberty Health Share. If your health care has become a burden and you're worried about being stuck for another year, listen up, because you do have options. Liberty Health Share could be the solution to your problem. Open enrollment is here, and this could be your chance to free yourself from insurance. Take this opportunity and join Liberty Health Share. You can finally be in control and have freedom when it comes to your health care. Liberty Health Share offers an entirely open network, which means you choose your own doctors and you choose your own hospitals. Liberty Health Share offers freedom from insurance, meaning there are no related tax penalties. To find out how you can easily make the change, call Liberty Health Share today at 855-585-4237 or visit their website at libertyhealthshare.org. That's libertyhealthshare.org. Do it today.
Beach Hotel, Maui's Hawaiian Hotel. Located in the heart of Maui's premier resort, Kaanapali Beach Hotel is officially recognized as Hawaii's most Hawaiian hotel and the #1 best value in Hawaii. With a range of accommodations and affordable dining options, this is the ideal setting to turn Hawaiian dreams into lifelong memories. Live Hawaiian entertainment every evening, free year-round children's programs, weekly arts and crafts fairs, welcome breakfast, and departure kakui lei ceremonies add to the value. Swim in the whale-shaped pool. Indulge in the fabulous spa and hotel salon. Enjoy Hawaiian hospitality at its best at the Kaanapali Beach Hotel. Call 800-262-8450 or go to kbhmaui.com. That's kbhmaui.com. Aloha.
Kaanapali Beach Hotel, Maui's Hawaiian Hotel.
The smartest way for you to get the lowest prices on your plane tickets, domestic or international, is to call SmartFares first or last, but you've got to call us before you book your plane tickets. Fly anywhere in the world, fly anywhere in the U.S., and SmartFares can save you up to 75% on your plane tickets. We have the lowest airline ticket prices on over 500 airlines, and you've got a great 12-hour free cancellation window. Plus, with our live agent help, you can always get fast help and fast answers. So on your next trip, maybe today, maybe tomorrow, how about right now? Pick up your phone and call SmartFares, plus save up to 75% on your plane reservation. So call right now. 800-915-2644, 800-915-2644, 800-915-2644, 800-915-2644.
Ryno Report. Check out all the old episodes, iTunes, TuneIn, Spreaker, Stitcher, Podbean, iHeartRadio, or RynoReport.com. They're all there. Perfect place to get every piece of information you will need for the entire weekend. RynoReport.com. You know, it is worth noting that people who are prepared, they are the ones who are worried about the future of healthcare, of what's going to happen once this thing inevitably implodes. And of course, I'm talking about the Affordable Care Act, the Not So Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, whatever you want to call it. This thing will implode. It is designed to implode. And the people who are worried are the ones who like to prepare. See, the ones who live day by day, they go, something will happen. Someone will figure it out. I'll skate by somehow. But the ones who are prepared, those are the ones who are worried, and I totally get it. And people like that, they're flocking to places like Liberty Health Share. They're going there because they know that that's always going to be there. The idea of helping each other has always been around. And no matter what bill is put in place or voted on, there's always going to be an exemption for medical cost-sharing companies like Liberty Health Share. So if you are that worried, head over there and check them out, libertyhealthshare.org, and they'll get you set up in like 5 minutes. So, all right, we have to talk about what everyone else is talking about. And I hate doing that, I really do, because but this stuff with this Evelyn Farkas, she worked in the Obama administration, she had a million different titles, the executive director of the Commission on the Prevention of Weapons of Mass Destruction, Proliferation, and Terrorism. I mean, it's like these titles get longer and longer. But she went on MSNBC, and what happened? She essentially confirmed that she knew of surveillance on Trump associates, if not President Trump himself. And she was surprised during the campaign because she was working as an advisor to Hillary Clinton during the campaign. She was no longer working for the government at this point. That nothing had come out yet. And this is all on MSNBC. You can go look at this clip, this video. She's trying to walk it back. And the best thing about this is, and these Democrats are really good at it, you can show them a video of them saying something and they will totally deny everything about it. You watch this entire video in context, and she confirms there was surveillance, she confirms it was disseminated, and then she confirms that they tried to cover it all up so that Donald Trump wouldn't destroy it, preservation of the republic, whatever she's trying to use as the excuse here. But really what is it? They're just trying to save their butts. That's what's happening here. And this is what this Russian investigation has really turned into, because there's nothing there. It's a big nothing burger. And no one has confirmed any evidence that there was any sort of collusion between President Trump, his associates, and the Russian government. They have this Kislyak thing. Everybody and their brother met with this Russian ambassador, Kislyak, including people like Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Al Franken. They have all met with this guy. So you have Jeff Sessions. He has to recuse himself because the Democrats say so, and the Republicans are kind of like their whipping boy. They have to recuse themselves. And then you have this stuff with Lieutenant General Flynn, and everyone's concerned that he spoke with this ambassador. The incoming National Security Advisor to the President of the United States spoke with his counterpart just a couple of weeks before President Trump was actually sworn in officially, and that's a big deal. That's a huge deal. I mean, you wouldn't want to be prepared for a job like that, I guess. What's the point of being prepared? But they're trying to use this, and this may have been a bad move on their part, because when they started digging in on this, and they started digging in on this idea of Russian collusion, well, it opens the door to a couple of things. Number one, and Trey Gowdy, of course, brought this up, how did you know the name? Who divulged the name? Because these people, American citizens, their names should have been masked during this FISA warrant. And also it brings up, well, is that so bad? Is it so bad that Flynn was talking to Kislyak? Or perhaps is it worse that now it sheds more light on Hillary Clinton's dealings with Russia and the sale of uranium, 20% of our uranium to Russia through a Canadian proxy, all the money the Podestas have coming in as a family, $40 million last year from Russian entities. See, that's really more the issue, and they opened up Pandora's box here. Because once you started attacking, it was one thing to have it in the news, it was one thing to have a couple of op-ed articles here and there. It's another thing to call for investigations, and then when they start to investigate what's going on, Democrats don't like what the Republicans find. They don't like it. So, of course, they call for Devin Nunes to recuse. And this is getting deeper and deeper and deeper by the minute. And it all started with this idea, this notion, to somehow portray Donald Trump as this Russian sympathizer just because he said Putin is a strong leader. They tried to develop this narrative all throughout the campaign. And we're going to talk about that too, because that has some bearing on why James Comey didn't publish that op-ed article. I think I figured this out. You want to hear that? We have a lot more to talk about. There's a lot more information, plus new revelations you do not want to miss. Hang in there, guys.
This is The Mungle on Movies. I'm Matt Mungle. T2 Trainspotting opens this week, and creator-director Danny Boyle talks about the gap in time since the original took place.
Because it didn't feel there was a real reason to do it. Because you have to be, obviously, there's an onus on you when you return to something with the impact that the first film had. If you're going to update it, you've got to have a reason. And they didn't feel like there was a reason.
T2 Trainspotting opens wide this week. For more reviews, interviews, and movie stuff, visit mungleshow.com or follow me on Twitter at @TheMungle.
Hey guys, Ryan the Ryno DeSico here for my friends at Liberty Health Share. If your health care has become a burden and you're worried about being stuck for another year, listen up, because you do have options. Liberty Health Share could be the solution to your problem. Open enrollment is here, and this could be your chance to free yourself from insurance. Take this opportunity and join Liberty Health Share. You can finally be in control and have freedom when it comes to your health care. Liberty Health Share offers an entirely open network, which means you choose your own doctors and you choose your own hospitals. Liberty Health Share offers freedom from insurance, meaning there are no related tax penalties. To find out how you can easily make the change, call Liberty Health Share today at 855-585-4237 or visit their website at libertyhealthshare.org. That's libertyhealthshare.org. Do it today.
These are the sounds of Columbo's Italian Steakhouse and Jazz Club.
Look at this ribeye. You see that ribeye?
Fantastic. Incredible.
This is delicious.
Sausage and lentil soup, special today. Very, very good.
Look at this garlic bread. Best garlic bread I ever had.
And here's Vic Perino, owner and operator of Columbo's.
A lot of the Italian recipes are my uncle's own recipes. We have a lot of people coming back for his hand-rolled lasagna. We make it basically from scratch. I think ours is exceptional.
Here's Vic on what makes makes Colombo's different than any other Italian restaurant.
The other thing that sets us apart from other Italian restaurants is that we're an Italian steakhouse. We specialize in our steaks.
Plus, there's more.
We have entertainment 7 nights a week. So they're coming for a lot of reasons to value. Their value per dollar that they're getting, plus coming into a neighborhood-friendly place. Sometimes we're actually accused of being the melting pot of Eagle Rock.
Colombo's in Eagle Rock on Colorado Boulevard, 323-254-9138. Manja.
Michael Horn and Fred Dreyer for you for Solar Optimum. We come and broadcast from the Solar Optimum studios, 818-745-1489. This is a big deal. You can save energy if you put solar power on your house. Am I right, Fred Dreyer?
Well, listen, if you're tired of those offensive power bills, which I know I am, I had a bill the other day for $683. That's just completely outrageous. Anything over $150, you got to get Solar Optimum.
And they now have this Tesla battery that not only is there for you in a power outage, like an earthquake or the wind blows out the power or something hits and the power line goes out or whatever, but it's there for you in the evening to trickle in more power into your house so you can save even more money. You can go and find out more information and get that Tesla battery in your home. Am I right?
Yes, you can. And all you got to do is call 818-745-1489.
Don't be left out in the cold and the dark. Save your family. Get light in there. 818-745-1489. Solar power and the Tesla backup battery. 818-745-1489.
This is Larry Elder inviting you to join me twice daily here on CRN Digital Talk Radio. Tune in to CRN3 Reagan Radio Monday through Friday at 3 p.m. Pacific Time, 6 p.m. Eastern for my live 3-hour show. And don't miss the replay of the show on CRN1 starting at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern. The Larry Elder Show, twice as good, 2 times daily, Monday through Friday on CRN. Find out more at crntalk.com.
Welcome back to the show. So this whole thing has blown up in the faces of the Democrats. They call for an investigation. There has to be an investigation into the Russian collusion, the Russian interference. They came to the voting machines. They drank vodka. They voted for all of us. Whatever. There has to be an investigation, and then Donald Trump has to be involved because he wasn't supposed to win. This was never supposed to happen. That's not the way it works. So they have to investigate. And the Republicans, what they do? Oh, sure, no problem. Because let's be honest, most of them don't like him anyway. Most of them associate with Democrats for the most part. So this is what happens. And now it's taken an ugly turn for Democrats because it looks more and more likely that there was spying going on by the Obama administration on Donald Trump and his campaign. And now we're hearing that this may have been going on for a long time. Fox News is reporting that this may have been going on since before Donald Trump was even the nominee for the Republican Party. And they're also saying that the surveillance that they were caught up in, unintentionally caught up in, which is a load, I'll tell you right now, it's a load of garbage, that they use these warrants to reverse surveil all the time. Now, they're saying that they had nothing to do with any sort of foreign government. Again, this is from Fox News, and they were talking about a smoking gun a couple of weeks ago. People started saying the word smoking gun intelligence, and when Devin Nunes went to the White House to view this intelligence, this information, and he made all these Democrats mad because he didn't share it with them, well, you can't share it with them because Democrats have a history of erasing things, deleting things, so you can't share it with them right away. And they got all mad. They wanted him to recuse himself because he found something. He found a smoking gun. And now we're starting to learn what that smoking gun is. And so, again, they started surveilling the campaign before Donald Trump was the nominee. And the surveillance had nothing to do with any foreign governments. And this is perhaps the most damning part. The unmasking of private citizens' names was ordered or completed by a high-ranking Obama official, quote-unquote, who is well-known, okay, quote-unquote, possibly in the intel community, but not in the FBI. So that leaves precious few people who are well-known in the intelligence community or perhaps the White House that ordered or completed the unmasking of these names that were surveilled on phone calls that did not have anything to do with foreign governments. This is deep. If this is true, if there's any truth to this, much worse than Watergate, not even close. It would be the worst political scandal in our country's history. And mainstream media and the left-wing media, they are going to go into overtime. They're going to be working overtime all weekend to make sure they try to debunk this somehow. They change the narrative. They find more information on Donald Trump. Now they're saying that the judge in the Trump University case or suit has accepted the plea bargain or whatever the payoff was. And that's going to be the big news. You're going to hear all about how the president has to pay millions of dollars to some people who didn't like the education they got from a billionaire. And that's going to be the big news. They're not going to touch this at all because this directly implies that their golden child, King Obama, was directly involved in this conspiracy. And where is he now? Out of the country. Out of the country with nobody around him at some resort snorkeling or whatever he's doing. He's gone. They are protecting somebody who could not wait to flee this country. Now, there are reports that people, the higher-ups in the Democratic Party, visited the former president when he was moving into that nice mansion in Washington, D.C., you know, on the civil service salary he earned, that they wanted him to form this shadow government. And he kind of said no. He kind of said that he's not really into that anymore. You know, he was never into the politics. He likes speaking. He likes being the person up in front of the room with the sleeves rolled up and talking to people. He doesn't like the politics. Let's be honest. He never was really good at politics. And that's why he never invited anyone to the White House. No one could ever visit him there because he knew that he would get taken advantage of by them. So he has people like Valerie Jarrett who have to do all this for him. And now that this is all going down, he's out of the country. Out of the country. So you extrapolate or derive whatever you want from that. Me, it seems awfully criminal. Awfully criminal. You rob a bank, you cross the border, right? Isn't that kind of how it works? Well, you rob the American people of their dignity, and now you go to Europe. An EU nation of that. There's a lot going on here, and mainstream media is going to cover this up because this was the guy. This was their guy. This was their, this was their great hope. Oh, well. But now the truth is going to come out. And it's going to come out, and people are going to start to feel pretty crappy about themselves when they have to go back to their districts and ask for votes. Now, there was this story about James Comey. And he wrote this op-ed article that he was going to give to the New York Times back in July. And he showed it to Obama officials in the Situation Room. He said, I wrote this, and I want to publish it. And they told him no. And now the people who were involved in that administration are saying, well, we told him no because we didn't want to interfere with the election. Yeah, whatever. Come on. That's what they're saying out in public. At the end of the day, I'll tell you why they didn't want to release it. They didn't want him to release it because the Russian collusion plot line was not fully developed yet. In July, it wasn't developed at all. And this was the goal from the beginning, which is why now it's turning out why we know they surveilled Donald Trump and his associates before he was the nominee so they could develop this plot line. And so that's why they told him no. Because it didn't really unfold until, let's say, October, late October. Remember that tweet? I think it was on Halloween from Hillary Clinton about the investigation with Russia. They were trying to lay out this plot that there was this whole collusion between Trump and Russia, which I think is a terrible game plan. And let's be honest, Hillary Clinton was a terrible candidate. She lost to a rookie her first time around. She lost to an outsider her second time around. Apparently, she's gearing up to do this again. Bad gameplay here. Because late October, they think that's going to be the big October surprise. That somehow Donald Trump is like this a Russian ambassador himself or something. And it didn't work. But that's why this op-ed article was not released when it was, because it would have gotten forgotten about very, very quickly. But they couldn't release it later on in October. They got really stymied here because then that whole Anthony Weiner thing happened with the sexting the 15-year-old, and they took the computers, and then the FBI found stuff, and then they didn't find stuff. It was too late at that point. But they were working to actively get this going, to get this whole thing developed, and James Comey may have been involved. Now, we know that a reporter from Gizmodo apparently figured out what James Comey's private Twitter is, and I'll tell you what it is when we get back, but it won't matter because it's private now. As soon as it was released, it went private. You can't see anything on it. But people took screenshots, and they know who he's following, and what he favorited, and some of it may surprise you, and some of it may not. Hey guys, Ryan the Ryno DeSico here for my friends at Liberty HealthShare. If your healthcare has become a burden and you're worried about being stuck for another year, listen up, because you do have options. Liberty HealthShare could be the solution to your problem. Open enrollment is here, and this could be your chance to free yourself from insurance. Take this opportunity and join Liberty HealthShare. You can finally be in control and have freedom when it comes to your healthcare. Liberty HealthShare offers an entirely open network, which means you choose your own doctors and you choose your own hospitals. Liberty HealthShare offers freedom from insurance, meaning there are no related tax penalties. To find out how you can easily make the change, call Liberty HealthShare today at 855-585-4237 or visit their website at libertyhealthshare.org. That's libertyhealthshare.org. Do it today.
You know, Fred Dry and I have been talking about BlueApron.com, where they send you fresh food right to your house with the recipes and everything. And you've been using this, Fred Dry, and you made dinner for me the other night.
Yes, I did. I had my Blue Apron on, and I noticed you didn't bring your Blue Apron with you, but we put a beach towel around you, and you did quite nicely getting that food shoved in there.
Salmon piccata was delicious, and you got all the fresh ingredients. They give you the recipe with it. It's less than $10 a person. There's so many new recipes. It's flexible. You can customize the recipes. Very easy to do. We were watching TV while you put the meal together.
You can't beat it. There's a knock on the door. They deliver it. You put it in the oven. You cook it and put it in your favorite type pie tins. And you're sitting there in front of the TV. The next thing you know, you're falling asleep.
Blue Apron has a freshness guarantee for you. Here's the best part. You get your first 3 meals free with free shipping. You go to BlueApron.com, put in the keyword dryer. That's Blue Apron, BlueApron.com/dryer, DRYER.
Guys, welcome back to this weekend edition of the Ryno Report. We're trying to cover a lot of stuff here. We're trying to connect the dots, trying to show you how this stuff all starts to come back to full circle. And there's no conspiracy theories here, because this is what's happened. This is the evidence we're seeing, the reports we're getting. Now, James Comey apparently had this private Twitter account that no one knew about, and some reporter from Gizmodo went to work and did what reporters actually used to do, and dig up information, do some investigative reporting. They don't really do that anymore. They just take whatever the DNC hands them and they read it on the news. But the Twitter handle is @ProjectExile7. @ProjectExile7, and it's now private. You can't follow him. You can't look at anything. Project Exile was something that James Comey worked on when he was the U.S. Attorney in Richmond. So, okay, that checks out a little bit. Now, what's interesting is the people he follows, a lot of like left-wing type accounts here. New York Times writers, WAPO writers, Politico, The Atlantic. He also does follow some law enforcement accounts. And he liked some odd articles. He liked a lot of articles about himself. So this guy, definitely a narcissist, liked the articles about himself. And then he liked some articles that were fairly anti-Trump. New York Times article about Jared Kushner and Flynn, how they met with Russians. So you're starting to see that even though James Comey, I think, is a registered Republican, maybe not so much. And there was a lot of debate over the summer and then in the fall as to who he was really helping. Was he helping Trump? Was he helping Hillary by exonerating her 14 times? Who was he helping? And it's easy to see that his bent definitely is to the left. And you can say, registered Republican. Well, so is Lester Holt. So, it doesn't really matter what you're registered as. But yeah, this is interesting. But it's private now, so I don't think he's going to follow you back. I don't see that coming. He ain't no follow back girl, that's for sure. You have, we have this. Jeff Sessions. I want to get to this. This is interesting. Sanctuary cities. He's on the O'Reilly Factor last week, and he's asking about sanctuary cities, and Jeff Sessions is hell-bent on making sure these cities do not get a dime of DOJ funding. And is that really enough? Is that really enough money to pull away? And here's my question. How does that change the narrative? Because the Democrats are going to turn right around. These mayors, these Bill de Blasio's, these Eric Garcetti's, these mayors, Rahm Emanuel, they're going to turn around and say, well, you guys aren't safe now because the DOJ pulled our funding. And that's how they're going to turn it around. And I don't love that play. There's got to be a different way to go after them. And I was trying to think of how you could really go after these mayors almost personally and make them liable for the lack of safety their citizens have with criminal aliens being protected inside of their cities. We heard, of course, with Kate Steinle, the man that killed her, or allegedly killed her, he went to San Francisco on purpose because he knew it was a sanctuary. And these places, so that's... Here's the issue. I mean, go through this quickly, and we'll maybe expound on this a little bit more next week. But currently, there's about 374 immigration judges in this country. That's not a lot. They have a backlog of over 500,000 cases. That's a lot of cases to see. Now, the plan is to have 524 judges, and that's in the budget by 2023. All right, that's still not that many. You're talking about 100,000 cases. It's too many. You need more judges. And these sanctuary mayors, right, they don't have to hold these illegals. They don't have to hold them if they just have a detainer, because a detainer is just signed by an ICE agent. As qualified as they are, they're still not a sitting judge. But they must comply with a warrant. If they're given a warrant, they can't just release somebody. So here's what you do. This is my idea. You change the name deportation order to deportation warrant. All right? You don't need congressional approval to do that. There's no money set aside for it. Now, you make every federal judge have the ability to hear a deportation case, not just immigration judges. And what this will allow you to do is this will allow these ICE agents to go judge shopping, just like the Democrats do when it comes to the immigration ban. They go judge shopping. And now these agents can go to any federal judge and have this deportation warrant signed, and now these mayors can't release them. They won't be allowed to. The minute they release them, they can be arrested. And that's what you have to do. You have to make sure these mayors understand that the safety and security of their citizens is paramount to anything else. And if they won't do it, the federal government's going to have to do it for them. And if they have to go to jail for protecting illegal criminal aliens, maybe they should put their money where their mouth is and actually do that. So that's how you do it, because there's just not enough immigration judges out there. The backlog is so huge. The good news is illegal crossings of our southern border are down 60% since Trump was elected. So the people are starting to figure out that they can't come here because they're not going to be able to stay. But that's how we change this. That's how you get real immigration reform. If you want to make sure these mayors are held accountable, you can't just pull money away, because they're just going to turn around and say, they took our law enforcement money away. The same Republicans that love cops, they took the money away. I can see it coming a mile away. So this is how you do it. Change the vernacular. All right, and then you make these judges allowed to sign these deportation warrants. All of a sudden, they can't do anything about it. You've tied their hands. If they release one person, off to the pokey they go. Off to the pokey, where some of them deserve to be anyway. All right, before we get too much further, we have not a whole lot of time left here. We got to talk about two movies that are coming out that you do not want to see. You got to avoid these things like the plague. I want to tell you about those. And then there's this sort of creepy thing happening in New Jersey. A lot of creepy things happen in New Jersey. But there's this one ongoing thing that maybe you guys heard of, and if you're looking to buy a home in the near future, maybe you should be aware of. Also, we got to talk about teachers going wild. We have one more teacher that went wild, and she went wild with a lot of people. But now she's going to have to pay the price. Hang in there, guys. One more segment to go here on the Ryno Report.
Experience a luxury boutique hotel escape in the heart of Laguna Beach, California, with the finest art gallery, shopping, dining, and nightlife just steps from your door. The heart of Laguna Beach, the edge of the sea. It's the Inn at Laguna Beach. Enjoy our comfortable rooms, blending the style of a timeless beach bungalow with the modern comforts of today. 70 newly appointed guest rooms and suites await you at the Inn at Laguna Beach. Then, relax at the rooftop bar, where you'll indulge in breathtaking views of the ocean. For dining, you'll find libations and local cuisine on the California coastline, including dining at the legendary Las Brisas, a Southern California landmark. The Inn at Laguna Beach. Footsteps from room to village to sea, located in the heart of Laguna Beach. The Inn is within walking distance of all that Laguna Beach has to offer. No car required. The Inn at Laguna Beach, 211 North Coast Highway in Laguna Beach, California. Call 800-544-4479 or visit innatlagunabeach.com.
Let me take just a moment or two, if I may, and talk about a great place to eat. That's right. For you folks anywhere in the eastern San Fernando Valley, drop into Bob's Big Boys. That's right. In Sun Valley at 8274 Sunland Boulevard. Now, everybody remembers the name Bob. They're getting bigger and bigger every day. Little old Bob carrying the hamburger in his checkered overalls is the same Bob that you remember from back through the years. And, of course, if you want to go in for a great lunch, remember their classic burger, the original double-deck hamburger combination. Delicious 100% pure ground beef in 2 patties with American cheese, lettuce, and our famous Big Boy special sauce. The name is Bob, and I think when you go in, you'll say, by golly, I'm sure glad that I found this restaurant because it's good for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. They've got all kinds of things, and all you have to do is remember. Bob's Big Boy in Sun Valley at 8274 Sunland Boulevard. It's a great place to eat.
What are you going to do with your old car? You can try selling it, you could junk it, or you could donate it to Heritage for the Blind. Your car will be towed away for free, and your donation is tax deductible. Just call 1-800-785-9618. Heritage for the Blind accepts cars, vans, trucks, and boats. It doesn't matter if your vehicle runs or not. It will be towed away for free, and you'll be supporting those that need help. Heritage for the Blind is a nonprofit organization that helps the visually impaired live fuller lives. Call right now to donate your car, and as a special thank you for calling, you'll receive a free 3-day vacation voucher to many exciting locations. Call Heritage for the Blind right now, 1-800-785-9618. Donating is easy, and your vehicle is towed away for free. Plus, you'll get a free vacation voucher. Call now, 1-800-785-9618. That's 1-800-785-9618.
So you've missed the healthcare deadline and don't have any form of healthcare? Liberty HealthShare has the answer. Liberty HealthShare offers an affordable healthcare option that allows Americans to enroll any time of the year. For those of you who have already enrolled but just aren't satisfied with what you've chosen, there's still hope. Liberty HealthShare allows Americans to control, manage, and direct their health care, yet still be in good standing with the Affordable Care Act. Members are exempt from the tax penalty and mandates imposed on individuals for not having health care insurance, thus giving you freedom from insurance. Liberty HealthShare empowers their members by giving them the ability to choose any doctor or hospital across the nation. Memberships are for individuals, couples, and families, offering a variety of options to best suit an individual's medical needs. If you're a freedom-loving American like myself, looking for contract-free health care, then this is for you. For more information on how to enroll at any time of the year, call 855-585-4237 or visit libertyhealthshare.org to request a free estimate. Do it today.
This is Jeff Carlisi from the Band 38 Special. Let us never forget that police lives matter.
You're listening to the Ryno Report, always right, on the RWB Network.
The Republicans want to repeal it. You know, they actually, with a straight face, say that the Great Recession was caused by too much regulation on Wall Street. They actually say that. You know, I remember when, you know, I've supported my husband through all of his races in Arkansas. And I one of my favorite political ads of all time was a radio ad, rural Arkansas, where the announcer said, wouldn't it be great if somebody running for office said something, we could have an immediate reaction as to whether it was true or not? Well, we've trained this dog. And the dog, if it's not true, he's going to bark. And then the dog was barking on the radio. And so, you know, people were, like, barking at each other for days after that. I'm trying to figure out how we can do that with the Republicans. You know, we need to get that dog and follow them around, and every time they say these things, like, oh, you know, the Great Recession was caused by too much regulation. Arf, 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 you know? I think we could cut right through a lot of their their claims.
All right, guys, welcome back to this weekend edition of the Ryno Report. Check out all the old episodes on iTunes, TuneIn, Spreaker, Stitcher, Podbean, or iHeartRadio. So we've had a pretty busy show so far. We solved the Sanctuary City problem by throwing their mayors in jail. That's probably the best way to go about doing this. We unraveled this Russian spying thing, which turns out to be Obama's spying thing, and he's out of the country. So we're getting a lot done here in this hour. Now I want to tell you about a couple of things you need to know, some movies that you don't want to see. The first one, get this, the first one, an inconvenient sequel. It's called Truth to Power. It's Al Gore's next movie, 10 years later. Remember he put out that movie, The Inconvenient Truth, in 2006, and he said in 10 years, like, I don't know, there's a doomsday timeline, the world's going to explode, the seas are going to rise, we're all going to be paying the piper for driving around our pickup trucks. Well, that day came and went, so apparently it was time for a new movie. And this one, it praises the Paris Climate Treaty thing, which we're gonna not do anymore. We're gonna get out of that thing probably fairly shortly, because that whole thing was signed on bad data. These countries had the good data in 2013, and that data showed there was no rise in sea surface temperatures. So before the treaty, the president had NOAA change the data to not credible data, and they changed the same data. Now it shows the seas are 1,000 degrees, and everyone has to sign this thing, and that's what happened. Didn't Al Gore also buy a $9 million home on the ocean in like Montecito or something? So much for the oceans rising. They also show pictures of this is very funny. Well, not funny, but they showed pictures in the movie of the Ground Zero area, where the Freedom Tower was being built at the time, being flooded. And here it is. We predicted the oceans were rising. Well, it was taken during Hurricane Sandy, when everything on the East Coast was flooded. So you don't want to see that. The other movie you don't want to see, and this is coming out, I think it's the end of May. It's called Wizard of Lies. Wizard of Lies. It's about Bernie Madoff, and there was a couple of good Madoff movies out there a couple of years ago. This one you don't want to see because it's got Robert De Niro in it, and you don't want to see anything with this guy. You don't want to see anything with him. I'm surprised he can read the script. So that's with this one, but hey, I guess he's the best person to play a fraud. So those are two movies you don't want to see. Now, if you're looking to buy a house in New Jersey, you gotta watch out for this guy. There's someone called the Watcher. This is very, very creepy. There was a couple that bought a home for like $1.5 million in 2014, and they kept getting notes from some guy who said that it was his house and they can't live there, and the notes were getting like more and more sinister, so they never moved in. In fact, they rented it out, and this Watcher was still sending them notes to wherever they were living that it was his house, and it went away, and now it's back again, and the cops won't do anything about it, and now they're suing the previous owners for not disclosing that this guy is like a menace, he's a problem. And so if you're buying a house, make sure no one's like parked out front looking at it and claiming it's theirs, especially if it costs $1.5 million. That's a lot of cheddar to spend on a house. It almost reminds me of that King of Queens episode where Kevin James buys the ice cream truck, and then the guy follows him around and he sells it back to him for less money, and the guy says that ice cream truck bought him a condo in Florida because he does that to everybody. That's what this reminds me of. Oh boy. Let's see, we got one last thing here. There's a sign in the window of a nail salon. It says, "Sorry, but if you're overweight, pedicures will be $45 instead of the original $30. And the owner is saying he's not charging them more because people are fat. You know, he's not like that. He's a good guy, but he does also say that fat people in the past have broken his chairs, and that cost him $3,000. So yeah, if your nail salon says it costs more because you're fat, go to a different nail salon or just eat less. I don't know what to tell you. Hey guys, hope you had a good time today. A big thank you to all those serving our country at home and abroad, and a big thank you to those in the law enforcement community. Thank you for all you do. Thank you for all the hard work. Please keep it up, and above all, please stay safe. God bless all of you. God bless all of your families. Have a great rest of your weekend. And until Monday, I'm the Ryno, and I'm out.